Okay, good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. I'm going to call this meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. It is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, just a couple housekeeping items. If you have a cell phone, if you could silence it. If you need to take a call, to step out in the hall to do so, please. And also, we are streaming live on YouTube. Item number 2, call for public comment. We will take comments from items that are not on the agenda, and we will still take those in person or by phone. The two numbers are 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297, and those will be addressed during the open part of our meeting. Item number 3, conflict of interest items. Are there any for fellow commissioners?
No. Nope.
Item number 4, action to approve the November 1st, 2022
So
agenda.
moved.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 5, action to approve the October 25th, 2022 minutes of the Codington County Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Johnson, second by Waterman. Any additions or corrections? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Monthly reports. We'll start out with extension. Yeah, I know. It's going fast. Morning, Jody.
Morning. I want to start off, thank the South Shore Gazette's putting some of our 4-H recognition photos in. So if the kids are looking for some of their photos, we've been putting them in there and in our newsletter. Clover buds will begin next week in Florence and Waverly, and then the Watertown group was split this year, so we don't have such a large group. Last year we had about 28 kids in the group, so it got quite large as the year progressed. So we split it already into 2 groups, so we get to know the kids a little better. Enrollments are still being renewed and new youth are joining right now, since we're just started our new year on October 1st. We're planning for the farm show lunch counter. I have a meeting tomorrow with our chairman of our 4-H lunch counters. And then we're planning some activities at the farm show also for the livestock literacy for the kids. Codington County 4-H will have a tree at the Watertown Regional Library. We just got note of that. And then with other community groups in the area. And then our next teen dash is December 3rd at the Codington County Extension Complex for our teen kids. So
what's December 3rd?
For teens, 7th through 12th grade,
yeah.
we're having a regional retreat there again. So it's December 3rd. We're kind of doing them quarterly. So to get the kids together. Any questions?
Beautiful weather. Nice crowd for Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, for recognition event went well and on October 23rd. So yeah, thanks for coming.
Good, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks, Jody. All right. With that, then we'll move on to the Veteran Service Officer report. Morning, Todd.
Way to time that gate swing there.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
0 transports for September and currently nothing in the hopper for October. That's actually nothing in the hopper for November. Sorry about that. It's off on that. Veterans Day program will be held at the County Extension Center, 10:30 on 11 November. The VFW is in charge for that event. I met with Dr. Pendergrass, the director of the Sioux Falls VA last week. He was in town. He called, wanted to stop in and talk for a little while. We talked for probably about an hour. Some of the issues or discussion topics were technology challenge for some of our veterans from that standpoint. Anything that we really talked about is nothing that he was not aware of. Care in the Community program, how that works and how that is affecting it. It is getting better from that standpoint as far as they're not lagging quite as far behind as what they were here at the beginning of the year. Again, they're continuing to improve that. I did mention that Watertown is one of the few communities that doesn't have a VA contracted nursing home. So they were going to, keep that. They were aware of that. There was another gentleman, I can't think of his name. He sent me an email in regards to that, and he was going to pass that off to see if they can kind of keep that as a topic for the VA to see if they can. Again, you can't force a nursing home to do that from that standpoint, but it's we're kind of a bigger area from that standpoint that don't have one. Peg's last day was yesterday. She's been a great asset to the county and to the veterans for over 30 years and will be missed. I had a flag flown on Memorial Day at the state capitol. We gave that to her in a case. She got a governor's challenge coin and we did a proclamation for that date and stuff like that. So yeah, so everything went well there. We kept it fairly low key as she desired. So she'll probably, she's done great strides as far as the cleaning up of our old records and getting that online. I'll probably, she said that, hey, you know, if I have an afternoon off, I'll probably come in and help us continue that process. So that would be greatly appreciated to get that online and completed. So with that, I mentioned here that I have a spreadsheet from a different full-time VSO down in Mitchell that he uses to report to his council. Looking at adapting that a little bit, might work with Lee a little bit here in the future to see if we can, you know, I'm all about having reports and metrics, but I don't want to be an additional burden just to report if it's not needed from that standpoint. So that's that fine line there. But I was in and I ran a report yesterday that I actually found. We have currently about 140 claims in process right now, going all the way back to January of 21. You know, it takes time for them and sometimes it takes, so that's quite a bit. Again, this week we probably already started 3 new claims, you know, before the end of the month, you know, so it's busy. Jay has been there Monday, Tuesday, he'll be there Thursday, Friday. We'll start to see him around a little bit more often as he ends his time with the military and then comes on full time on the 2nd of January. I'm going to continue to establish the old welfare office into a more a viable office with the phone and everything in there, which we kind of have that now. But as we found where now we have 2 VSOs working claims, the smaller office, the confidentiality is some of our veterans talk rather loud, even if we do close the doors from that standpoint. So I think we'll probably establish that if we're going to have appointments with veterans, we'll just go over to the other office
Yeah.
and do our appointments and then
Yep.
keep the open door flow from that standpoint.
Good office for that.
Yep.
Might as well utilize it.
Yeah.
You bet. So,
The reason they talk loud is they can't hear.
well, there's some truth to that, you know.
You're looking at 3 of us right here.
Is Lee in that category? Okay.
Selective hearing.
On the caring community, I mean, but I know it probably depends on the kind of care that they're getting, but I think it was optometry, it could take a long time to get up, like what's 4 to 6 months.
And
Is it still?
so here's what I've been telling my veterans, you know, if they get outsourced or the doctors out here at the clinic say, hey, we'll send in a referral to care in the community. Sometimes they have to wait quite a while. And what I would tell them is that, you know, once you wait a week, call care in the community, because when they do that, usually care in the community is quicker to respond, because if they just are waiting for the referral, it could take quite some time from that standpoint. I didn't know that long on
Well,
the,
it's long, you know, it could be, but I'm pretty sure 4 months is dependent, but I think it depends on the kind of care you're getting.
yes,
And I don't know, it's a problem, you know, when the folks making the appointments, I mean, they're just overwhelmed, or if it's the, you know, the doctors, and the specialists themselves.
I know in the eligibility world, when I'm putting claims in for people to get into VA healthcare, I personally know the person that does the eligibility. They're still working to hire people to backfill. He's currently the only one in the office, and I can't imagine where he's looking.
No wonder, yeah, okay.
So,
The issue that it's not really care of community. I've had good luck with them, but what I'm finding are just like with the eye doctors, there's only one in Watertown that'll work with the VA. And that's what really, you know, messes things up, you know. I wish the others we have a boatload of them in town. And I even had one say, well, your Medicare or whatever will cover, your
Visit.
visit, and then go to one of those, go to the one that will work with the VA to get the actual frames or the glasses, Well, then, boy, now you're doing all kinds of running around. And that's the only issue that I've had with them.
Yeah, I would always tell the veterans that, once you get a referral or once you've been to an appointment, give them a couple of weeks and then lean forward in the
Yeah.
seat and start calling and say, hey, because I have heard that as far as, hey, when I call them, I get good service. So,
Got it. I've got that experience.
Yeah, and I have too. It's been all right.
This takes a while.
Thank you.
okay, have a great day.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, Todd.
You bet.
Okay, let's move on then to item number 7, action to approve the purchase of a vehicle for the welfare office. Good morning, Sarah.
Hi.
Okay, so we had an update though, or we're going to be updating something in our policy, right?
In the procedures. There, yep, and I did bring updated
But
copy.
you did not ask me to put that on the agenda.
The
specific-
procedure,
Right.
yeah,
I mean, you asked me to put on action to approve the purchase of a vehicle, but nothing was said about the procedures. So
okay, but, well, I mean, that's fine, because I had, when I had sent them back, I had said to add the procedure and the job description too, but I can do those next week if we can move forward with the,
I've saved your emails because I specifically,
I don't have my,
yeah.
I'll forward it back.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, so
Yeah, I mean,
before
I'll
that
forward it
vehicle
back to
could
you.
be used, though, we're gonna need to get those procedures adopted.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, and, yep,
Okay,
yeah, I'll
Just
forward
so
you
that-
that back, that email, Cindy, that's okay.
And I.
No, I had
didn't
replied,
see anything.
I had replied back saying, but that's okay.
okay. But just so you
Specifically
know,
what-
like.
Yeah, I had,
We,
anyway.
we don't want anybody.
So I
using it.
wondered about that when the policies and procedures weren't
What was
on
on
the
there?
agenda,
Mhm.
that, because I had replied that.
Okay,
But if we can move forward, because the purchase, otherwise we have to wait. We can't do that, but we wouldn't be able to, it's gonna take a little while for that purchase to go through anyways.
Okay.
And to have the,
so it
so,
won't be utilized then by any county
No,
employees in town.
no,
Okay.
we don't have they've got to get the title, they're still getting it from Pierre.
Okay,
And everything.
Just so that, yeah, we know that if we don't have that in place,
Mhm.
they can't be using it. Okay,
Okay,
all right. So the first thing then, action to approve the purchase of the vehicle for the welfare office.
So move.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any discussion? Sarah, did you want to add anything? This is that 2009 Ford Explorer for $1,000.
yeah, it was used by the DAV, so it was jointly owned by the county and the DAV, and now they've replaced it, and so it's just sitting there right now.
What's the condition of this vehicle? Are we gonna have to put any money into it to maintain it? What's?
Tad said it's in good condition, they used it for, is he still here?
Oh,
No.
He left.
It's
Yeah,
just
they, yeah,
Broke in,
yeah.
70,000 miles.
yeah,
Well,
they used it
yeah.
for transports, and so, I mean, normal maintenance, that's what, and I, like, estimated budget, I did add in some maintenance costs, just because of the unknown, eventually we'll need tires, those kinds of things. They did say the tires are okay right now. All of that, so we'll just be using it for in-town travel.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're ready to vote on that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Not hearing any, that motion carries. Item number 8, action to approve a contract with ICAP for case management services.
And this is just basically a renewal. There are a couple updates on it. One of the updates is that they will now start reimbursing Codington County rent for the office space at $100 per month. That's based on their
They do square footage, a
Yeah.
certain dollar amount per square footage. When
Yeah.
They came up and measured the office that she'll be utilizing.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but that is an addition that we were not receiving before.
Mhm. Right. They had not been paying for office space previously, and so now they will be. So otherwise,
The 15, was it 19 hours a week before?
it was originally 19, and then last year we cut it down to 15. And she's been using between 10 to 15.
Second.
Okay, motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Van Duzen. Any other comments or questions? Not hearing any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Okay, item number 9, action to approve a letter of agreement with Odney Inc. for social service marketing services.
This then is the marketing plan that we had gotten that grant for from the Department of Health. So we have the grant and this is just to formalize it so that we can accept the marketing proposal from Odney
They're
that
the,
we already have the funding for. yeah.
received the funding first. Now we are using that funding to go towards IE for the marketing.
Yep.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any comments or questions on this? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, number ten, though, we do have
have more?
action to approve an updated job description for the welfare community care
that did
coordinator
get-
position. So that is on there, yes.
Okay,
It was just the procedures.
the
that wasn't
policies, which we kind of updated anyway, so that's fine.
on. All right.
So, with the job description, this is just related to the vehicle. It was just adding one item on there under the essential duties and responsibilities. The last item, transport clients on a limited basis to support access to medical care, housing, employment, and other supportive services. Otherwise, everything else is the same.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Johnson. Any comments or questions? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Opposed, that motion carries. Should be good. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you all. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks,
you.
Sarah. Item number 11, action to apply for hazard mitigation grant funds on behalf of Sioux Rural Water for the purchase of a generator for the Kransberg plant. Good morning. We'll just have you state your name, please, and who you are with. You can go ahead and sit down and then, so we can catch you on the mic.
I'm Travis Stephenson, the general manager at Sioux Rural Water.
Okay.
So I have a copy of, sorry, I have a little sore arm here today, but probably hand these out.
You can, yeah, you can give it, we can pass it down to, that works. Thank you.
Cindy, you want to?
Yep, thank you.
All right, so the first page is just showing what we're wanting to do. So to apply for these hazard mitigation, we've done this through Hamlin County with the previous manager. So I'm new as of this summer here, but I've worked for Sioux Rural Water for about 9 years. But anyway, so before we used to be able to do the paperwork. Well, now the new process is it has to start through the counties. So you guys, what we need you to do, or what we would like you to do, is to start the paperwork. So you guys pay for the generator, then the funds come back to you. So there's no money out of your guys' pocket other than,
It's a pass-through
it's a
procedure.
pass-through procedure. So yeah, so we're just hoping you can do that. So it's the tower site that's out east of town here. So there's a tower and then there's a booster right next to it. And a few years ago, there used to be a booster about 5-6 miles north of there. So we replaced it with a newer booster. So when this booster goes off, we have on page 1 of just past the costs. So it's actually the next page. So it's the engineer's report. So we have 88 people that are out of water as soon as that generator shuts off, or as soon as the booster shuts off, and about 3,600 head of beef cattle. And I'm pretty sure the Waverly School is also off as soon as that booster shuts down. Some people still have water if they're in low enough elevations, but it's just the higher elevations that pushes all the way up to the Waverly area. So it's a really important part of our infrastructure. We've already done, like I said, we've done 2 of these, one over by the Cones, kind of by the Cones Corner, one there, and then one right north of the Hamlin School. We put a generator in there through Hamlin County. That's been an awesome project. That way, when these generators, it used to be when they came out in the 90s that they just had portable ones. Well, the problem is when there's a portable generator, it's either icy, the conditions are horrible, and to be honest with you, nobody wants us on the roads at that point, and we don't want to be on the roads. So this is becoming the norm anymore as we're starting to put these generators in. So that way they can just kick on automatically as soon as the power goes off.
Yes, and power goes off more often than a person would think.
It does. It
So I'm on
really
that
does.
Same power system, so.
When it's always no big deal until it's
Mhm.
it's
That
you are out of
happens.
water or these lives, we're always concerned about the livestock because, they're gonna the ones on a 100-degree day. They're the ones that are gonna
Mhm.
die, So
Yep, and it's just pass through, so
What's, so which county office would handle this?
it's gonna go.
right through here, yep.
So the commissioner, I mean, who's
Um,
actually.
Which
Uh,
line does
For the-
it come out?
It's hazard mitigation grant, so would that be emergency management?
Yeah, so Greg
So it's a.
Yeah.
Greg Mogg will be working with
With
Oh,
Andrew
yes, Eldaga,
Yeah.
yep.
It'll go through that
Okay,
office.
that's right. And it's, so it's FEMA money that's.
Yep, it's FEMA money. Yep, correct.
So the total cost is 174,000.
Correct. Yep. And so the other thing is any costs that are associated with this, you actually can get reimbursed through First District. So if there's any time that's being logged, so it'll actually cost you really nothing. It's not only pass through, but any time that's spent on that you can be reimbursed through First District.
And you talked to Andrew already?
Yes, I have talked to Andrew.
And I'm sure First District is on board. We contract with them as well, and they are involved in a lot of these projects, so.
Yep. And like I said, we just kind of need you to start the paperwork and then First District will come through and we'll help out with whatever we can to kind of make it as painless as
Just a
possible.
procedure that we need to approve it.
What's the timeline?
Mhm.
We'd like to get this in next summer. As soon as we get approved through you guys, then we'll start the bidding process and.
Okay.
So we'll have to get building permits and
Motion by
Second.
Gable,
I'll second it.
second by
Johnson.
Johnson. All right. Any other comments, questions?
So is our current generator now, it's just going to the end of life cycle? Or there's-
so there is not a generator there right now. Nope. And like I said, most of the time what they would do is they just take temporary generators out there. So, yep. So we're starting to
Yeah.
kind of put permanents on every site if we can.
That's good.
Now, you probably said this, and I was busy looking at this front page. Where's it gonna be located at?
So can you see the little red? I mean, it's the tower site and then the new booster is north of there. And then right to the east side of that, there's a little red and it's kind of hard to read or,
Yeah, I can see it.
yeah, that's where the generator will sit. So you really it won't be an eyesore for anybody any
It's
more
back
than
in
what's
that
already
field.
there. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of hidden back in the corner there a little bit, but
That's right along 212, the Kransberg water tower.
Where's your fuel storage gonna be for this?
it'll probably be right in underneath it is what they usually are. Self-contained right there. Yeah, it's
So-
usually on the bottom of the generator.
Do you like and I know it depends on how much it runs, but as far as the fuels, do we bid that every year like we do all of our fuel for the county?
That won't be all.
So that'll be us.
That will
That'll be you guys.
It'll be all of us. Yep.
Okay, all right.
Yep. And like this one, we won't be running it.
Yeah, I
It
did.
yeah, it shouldn't run a whole lot.
We hope not.
We hope not,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is this diesel powered or?
Yeah, diesel.
Yeah.
Is there a natural gas line that runs through there?
There probably is one close to there. We may look into that too. That'll be something our engineer kind of talks about, but the thing about. Yeah, I mean, we know that the diesel's there all the time, so that's always kind of nice too. In case they would happen to have a problem at the same time we would, which is sometimes likely.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right.
so it'll be diesel fuel.
We have a motion and a second. Are we ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yep, thank you guys very
Thanks.
much.
Get her going.
You too.
You too, thanks. Item number 12, action to approve a change order for rumble strips on County 9B.
Here we go.
That would be Rick.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
All right.
This is the change order that you guys approved to have the rumble strips worked on 9B. The only difference from what I sent you guys to begin with, the primary contractor added 10% to the bill. So it's $3,025 instead of $2,750. They did not have that information until after I'd sent that to you, so.
What do they propose how to soften that noise?
They're gonna angle, see, right now, the strips are straight up and down, they're gonna angle those to kind of buffer the noise, so. And I'm not exactly sure when they're gonna get it done, because there was nobody in the area to do it, so.
Now, I've had a few people ask me, what did that What did that road cost us? Is that right? 1,724,000? Is that the
No.
total cost?
That was 8 miles of road for that.
That's what I thought, that was
Yeah.
8 miles. Yeah,
Yes.
but it's still about $1 million mile,
No, it was about 500,000.
Oh, man, half the price.
And
What a
then-
deal.
And then
We
the
should have
city's
done
going,
another mile.
the city's going to chip in, it'll be 400,000 because the city's gonna kick in 100-something thousand.
Okay,
Because they're annexed the half-mile line
Yep.
on the east side.
but it's still 500,000.
Yes.
But
Which the road surface itself was very well done.
Right.
It's a good
Yeah,
stretch of
it's a
road.
nice stretch of road.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
all right, motion by Gable,
I'll
Also-
second it.
second by Johnson. Any other comments, questions?
so it's at the operation grinding tapered edges onto rumble strips. So that's basically what they're trying to get there.
Okay, so, and this is just that 10%.
Quiet down.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, let's move on then to item number 13, discussion, possible action to hire Banner Associates to administer road use agreement and manage the Summit Carbon Solutions project in 2023. Rick, if you want to give a little explanation on this.
I had a person from Summit Carbon Solutions in my office last week asking questions because they're planning on starting the project next summer. And I just want to hire Banner to administer the whole road use agreement, like what we did for the wind towers. So they can keep track of all that, so we don't have to. And I told the guy that I talked to that I was going to hire an engineering firm to do it, and their cost will be paid for by them. By the developer, yes.
So this is the same as what we did with the wind project.
Right.
It's just to hire these individuals to make sure that anything that happens, that our interest is put back to the same or better than what it was before, and that's in relation to roads.
Any
Correct.
roadway surface damage that's caused by the project.
That's all
Yes.
this has
Yes.
anything to do
And
with.
this is to get out ahead of it, so Banner can come up with a price that
Right.
will come up with an agreement and go from there, so.
And all this has to go through the PUC yet, and there's other processes that it has to go to. You just want this in place if it does happen to go through, that
Yes.
we are in line and ready, that our interest is protected.
Because other counties are going through the same thing, and they're coming up with a road use agreement. We're all sharing our road use agreement.
Mhm.
So someday, maybe the whole state will have one road use agreement and say, here it is. You know, yeah, so we take parts out of theirs, they take parts out of ours and use it to make everything better. And
Well-
we've got a pretty good one now.
Move to approve.
Motion by Johnson. Right, we gotta have a motion on the table if there's going to be really any,
I'll second for the purpose of discussion. on
okay,
this
yep,
one.
second by Van Duzen. So I think there are some individuals here. I will allow Commissioner Gable.
Is just a question. So what do we, I mean, we don't have a contract.
No, this is just to hire them to come up with a contract
Yeah.
to get things going.
So it's
This
nothing,
wouldn't kick in until after this project has been approved or by
Yeah.
the state.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is just to talk to them.
There will be no costs involved.
There is a cost involved, and
Well,
that's to
yeah.
have the contract written up.
Well, there'll
When-
be something, but
Okay.
we don't have to hire them instantly. This
No.
is just to get things rolling, so.
Oh,
it's in place for when the time comes.
Yeah.
The developers call, I mean, we need something in writing that says the developer's covering all the costs.
Well, that's what Banner will have in the whole road use agreement.
Just like we did with the
Is that-
wind.
Yes, just a step with no paper is kind of.
Yeah.
We didn't do that last time.
Yeah.
We had some kind of paper to look at.
Yeah.
So with, just we're saying.
Yeah, yeah, because we're not gonna spend any money now. This is just to get Banner on board, so they can come up with a price, and I'll bring that back, so.
okay, so I have a question about this, okay, so we're hiring Banner Associates to administer the road use agreement without even knowing if this project is going to go through. So it's going to cost us money to hire
We're
Banner,
not-
to have the
we're not
agreement
gonna
in
do
place?
anything right away. I'm just getting them on board, so. There will be no cost right away.
So they're not going to work on it.
No,
They're
they're-
nothing right now.
Yeah, they're not gonna do anything right now, just so if it is approved, then I'll come back with a price and everything, so.
We
Okay.
didn't do this last time. We didn't do it, I mean, we had some paper, proposal or something from Banner last time.
And that's what we'll have again.
Yeah, we'll have that again,
But
but
why would you need to do this step, or just?
I was just getting it out there, so.
I mean, I think
Yeah,
good for Banner, I don't know what to do. So.
Well, I can get a price from them if that's what you want.
Yeah, at this time, it's my opinion, a little bit too early in the game. for
Okay,
something like
all right.
this. Just my
Motion
opinion.
in a second, so we gotta vote.
Yes, unless we amend that motion to, to withdraw it, yeah.
I don't think there's anything to amend. I
Just
don't
to
know how you
withdraw.
would amend it because you still don't have the
Yeah.
paper in front of you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be, yeah, all Johnson would say is he withdraws his.
Withdraws
motion,
his
and then
motion.
it's done.
And I'm fine with the motion.
Okay.
You don't want to withdraw
No,
until we get more information,
correct.
okay? So can Troy withdraw his second then, because without a second, then you don't have a second. Probably can't at
Just
this
vote.
point,
It's
just
probably
vote.
The easiest way to do
All right.
it at this point.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No,
Nope.
okay,
Not until we get
Motion
Sure.
numbers.
all right, motion fails due to not enough.
But don't misunderstand, we understand we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Project this.
Yep, I was just trying to get things on board before we.
Specifics are lacking.
So,
All right.
okay.
The number
Now-
14 item isn't until 10 o'clock.
Okay,
They will be here at 10.
okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
all right, thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
And I still haven't received anything on 15.
No, and so yes, 15, we will not be
Rick,
having any discussion about.
can you keep me updated with the contractor on the 19th Street deal? With the time frame? Thank you.
Okay, and item number 16, discussion possible action to enact a burn ban. I had a discussion with Andrew this morning. He is not in favor of enacting a burn ban at this point. Unless any of you feel a need to, I guess we'll just maybe
Boy,
keep
it's
it on.
dry out there, people. I don't know. It concerns me, although we are getting quite a bit of the corn out. And that corn ground is getting to work, that helps quite a bit, but it's just terribly dry. I just can't emphasize enough. We've had a couple of wood piles that neighbors have burned in the past week, and I tell you what, it was. In fact, they were surprised how dry it was. They were kind of busy at the peak of the fire, burning their twigs and their branches because they never seen it spread in the grass as fast as it did, but it did. I mean, it just creeped right through the grass and so you just have to be so careful and even as careful as you are, a spark from a stock chopper, they're probably the worst, or a hot bearing in the combine will do it. If they don't want a burn ban, I personally, I would like to see a burn ban, at least for a few days, a week or so until we get some rain. But whatever.
The question is though, has anyone really, I guess, I don't know that, I'm thinking Andrew's been in contact with the fire departments. Has anyone been doing any burning unnecessarily?
Unnecessarily, I wouldn't say that. We have taken quite a few controlled burns in the
And have they,
911 center. People are calling them in, and to my knowledge, we haven't had any get out of control
Okay.
that I'm aware of. We do have, yesterday, we did have a baler fire.
Well, that's
But I mean,
something.
it's dry, but that could have been a equipment issue. That's not going to prevent that from happening,
Right.
but
I'm aware of one combine fire that was. Luckily, somebody seen it and got the hold of the operator and they put it out right away.
yeah.
those are the things that are going to happen, whether there's a burn
Yes,
ban
they
in
said
place.
Those are
or
the
not.
equipment.
No.
Yeah.
So my question was, those that are doing controlled burns, have they been staying controlled?
Yeah, I don't think we've had any issues that I'm aware of. And I don't know of anybody that's, flicked a lit object out of a window that started a grass fire or anything like that I'm aware of. So it is dry, like Myron
Yeah,
says.
it
There's
is
no
dry.
question about
I
that.
think people have been being responsible for the
Mhm.
most part. So I guess if anyone wants to entertain enacting it, I guess that's your wishes, but That's, we would need a motion and a second to get that.
Well, I'm
approved.
assuming that the area fire departments were notified and apparently they're not in favor of a burn ban,
I
so.
know there is an active burn ban over in Clark County right now as well. So,
They were drier than us, I think, all summer kind of, so. All right, does anyone? Okay. Let's move on then to item number 17, action to approve claims for payment.
We have none today.
Okay, 18, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
Nothing today.
Personnel changes, we have one
have
of
one.
those.
This is a request for the admin specialist in the welfare office to assist as a temporary clerk in the highway department. Gary Cranbrink,
I'll
at
make-
her current wage as an admin specialist, step 2, 2108 per hour.
Move to approve that.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gabe Waterman. Okay, all in favor, any comments?
Just for clarification, that is just to replace an employee that is out on leave. So,
Temporary.
Temporary, yep.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 20, travel requests. I don't believe we have any of those. Public notices, possible quorum of commissioners, Sioux Valley Commissioners Association,
With the GOP meetings tomorrow.
possibly also Make-A-Wish.
Friday night, there's a get together, there's a known get together. I don't know how many people are gonna be there. but Flag waving up at Kemp Avenue.
Merry Mix and Mingle Thursday night, Make-A-Wish Friday night. Oh, that's all I have that I can think of that there could be a possible quorum of commissioners at. Anyone else have anything?
There's a meeting tomorrow at the ethanol plant.
That's at 2, isn't it? Or is it 1?
That's
I think it's at
1:30.
1:30.
Could there be a quorum?
Yes.
I will not be attending. Okay,
I will.
could be a quorum.
I'll be there.
All right.
You guys going? So there will be a quorum.
Item number 22, any old business? 23, new business.
I'll be attending a clerk meeting on Monday. Gotta start legal expense for leave program.
All right,
I'll let you know if there's anything good.
Hopefully it's good news.
so far, it hasn't been any real big
Yeah,
claims.
knock on wood.
Packet's pretty big. It's not as thick as some.
Item number 24, open, any public comments? Did you folks want to talk today at all or no action? Good,
I do want to clarify a public comments, so we're at allowed a couple of numbers.
oh, the phone numbers. Yep,
What are those heard by the commission?
during the open part of the meeting. They're just if they can call in. Yes, and we'll address those during the open part of the meeting. And they're items that are not on the agenda, just for information only.
So we would call the person's number and listen to them on speakerphone. That's all we have. So it can be either.
So once this agenda is made. These items are, basically, this meeting is formality, once it's on this agenda, it can't be discussed. The public is just calling, write comments, or meet with their commissioner, privately to voice their opinion, there is no public discussions.
Well, during the open, I mean, those are items that are not on the agenda. That's when a public member can call in and voice their opinions.
So the reason we have to agendize. Oh, thank you. So state law requires us to have an agenda put together within 24 hours or, over 24 hours of the meeting. So the public can know what's going to be discussed. So that's why that's there. So potentially, if you say something during a public comment, that might become a future agenda item, depending on what it is. So that's basically how it works. So it gives the public time to react. So it's part of the transparency laws.
So this agenda is put out 24 hours.
It's put out a little earlier when we try to put it together in enough time to give people
What
more
did that come
time.
out about Thursdays?
Right now, Thursday at noon is when I try to get it out.
Yeah, so that gives the media time, everybody
Friday
time
at
to look at it.
latest.
Right.
Yeah,
It's never been any later than Friday, so we usually always have ours.
to the website and front doors of the courthouse.
And in the paper,
And that's online, that's online.
And the what?
and in the paper too.
No,
No, they don't publish it anymore?
No.
Oh, never mind.
the
Just
agenda
on
is
the
not
door.
something that was ever published in the paper.
Oh, okay.
Just put on
I
the
send the
doors.
agenda to them, but they're not required to publish anything,
PO does highlight some of the items on the agenda though, every week.
not ahead of time.
By the
I've seen
time
it.
it comes out on Thursday and it goes to the paper and we don't get a paper on Monday, then it's
She
Tuesday.
says
we're meeting.
meetings are planned this week, include the Codington County Commission.
We're so.
They will be discussing these items.
I've never seen.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're
I-
so.
I'll show
it's
you.
fine.
Well, anyway,
They
okay.
have not
It's not the whole agenda, but it's just highlighted items.
put
Mhm.
anything in the paper.
So you can look on the website, front door of the courthouse.
Okay,
Nobody at the location here.
Yeah. Okay.
And then. You're finished. And then, you know. That was it. I was just, item number, basically the road and not agreement, and. You came to the right conclusion that I think it is very premature, final permit hasn't been issued on the carbon solutions. Pipeline, quick comments are not a public utility. They're-
So if you'd want to do a public comment, if you'd come up, state your name, so we can get that on here, please.
Public comment in reference to
state your name.
Your name.
Troy Skelton.
Okay.
Public comment about an item issue today that it was premature to do the road agreement and to hire somebody for something that hasn't been final permitted by the PUC. In my opinion, they are not a public carrier. They are not a public utility. And therefore should not have the right of eminent domain. And those will all be addressed with the PUC and in due time. And there are court cases that are pending in multiple jurisdictions to that accord.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
comment.
Yep,
Yep.
thank you.
Anyone else have anything for the open public comment? Okay. If you state your name as well, please.
Wendy Schultz, affected landowner of the Summit Carbon Solutions projected project. You need one, Cindy?
If you have an extra one,
I
otherwise,
do.
okay.
And I'm going to concur with Troy that it seems as if you've come to the correct conclusion.
We can get another copy.
Sorry, Cindy, I didn't think of
That's
you.
right. You could- Okay, okay.
I only have a left eye.
So just a few points here. The pipeline isn't a done deal yet. So planning ahead with Banner, as you discussed, is a moot point at this juncture. The PUC will be making the decision and that has not happened yet. I guess a big question for all of you is where do you stand with landowners' rights? Are you behind landowners or?
I got, oh,
Time is yours, so.
Lee needs one.
Continue.
Okay. So is that a question that you're willing to answer? Are you standing behind landowners' rights?
This is. Don't know. You can continue with all your facts, I
Okay.
guess, and that's.
I guess the point is a landowner should be able to say no to a private company that is doing a project for private gain funded by tax dollars. The 45Q are tax credits that are luring US companies to capture CO2. These tax credits are only good for 12 years. So that brings a huge question. So after 12 years, when these companies aren't getting their tax credits anymore, what's going to happen with the pipeline? Are they going to abandon it? There's just a lot of unanswered questions at this point, and I guess I'm here just to inform you as much as I can. No one also has addressed the safety of the pipeline if there's a rupture. Just yesterday at the Los Angeles airport, there was a carbon dioxide leak that sickened at least 4 people, including one person listed in grave condition. Imagine the damage if there's a rupture in the valley near the outdoor shooting range, baseball complex, soccer complex. with 20 miles of CO2 expelled at 2100 PSIs. It's been reported that the shutoff valves will be 20 miles apart. I have yet to hear back from the Director of Emergency Management for our county regarding the plan on how to rescue people who are entrapped by the escaping gas. How is it safe to be near anyone's home or their livestock? There are also hundreds of South Dakota landowners saying no and fighting the pipeline. The other states the pipeline companies are pushing their way through are experiencing the same opposition. We're talking Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and now they're adding Illinois to the list. I think the fact that Summit is suing landowners now for rights to even survey our land should be very telling as to the nature of who they are. They're also starting to sue counties that are rejecting or asking for a moratorium. Has Summit Carbon Solutions told Codington County and the citizens of Watertown that they will need 14 million gallons of water annually, as they announced in the town of Lamberton, Minnesota? Has Summit discussed if there will be a wastewater issue? Has Summit laid out safety protocols and emergency rescue protocols? These should be issues that should be addressed before the pipeline is even surveyed. So the 45Q credit also comes with stipulations. Credits must be repaid if the carbon oxide leaks into the atmosphere during a 3-year period after the initial storage or injection. So we're going into the project knowing that there could be leaks. That's like a huge red flag. The credit, we covered this, it's only available for 12 years. So what will happen after the 12 years? And the construction must begin by January 1st of 2024. This is the reason for the big push that we've had from Summit. In meetings with landowners, they're approaching us one landowner at a time, and they're being very forceful and they're not being respectful at all. And when you say no, they do not take no for an answer. The facility must emit fewer than 500,000 metric tons of CO2 per year and not fewer than 25,000 tons. Who will be regulating this? Okay, the carbon tax will also increase the price of gasoline and electricity. Consumers will then become more energy efficient, further reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So it's going to make it more costly, so we don't use as much, which seems like a large level of control. The carbon tax is regressive. By making fossil fuels more expensive, it imposes a harsher burden on those with low incomes. They will pay a higher percentage of their income for necessities like gasoline, electricity, and food. They can't afford to switch to electric vehicles. There's many other ways to use CO2 emissions: concrete building materials, liquid fuels, chemicals, and plastics. It promotes the growth of algae. There's novel materials it can be used for. Instead of forcing and destroying landowners' precious land, there's other ways to take care of these emissions. So that's my little spiel today.
All right, well, thank you for your information, I guess, and so I'll be monitored as time goes on and goes through the process, and you guys will have your opportunity at that time too, in that process,
Okay.
I'm sure. So.
And then at this point, will anybody answer any of this, or it's just something that you will look into?
I think as time goes, we'll just be getting more information as well, pros and cons. I guess, I don't know if anyone else wants to answer anything at this point.
Question.
Yes.
So that's great.
Yep.
So, you said there were lawsuits where the developer was suing a landowner. Is that happening in Codington County?
Yes, we were served with a summons, and the summons had multiple landowners on it because we said, no, we don't want your pipeline on our land. And you are not allowed on our land, which means surveying. As a landowner, we should have that right to say no.
Because what the reason I'm asking, I've been told that that the developer has been able to get the easements that they desired and they haven't had to think about, that, but that's
Appreciate the information. So.
I think if you were to look for a little more forthrightness from Summit, and maybe if any of you had attended any of the meetings with the landowners, you'd be surprised the tactics that are being used.
Is there another landowner meeting that's planned? That's coming up?
Not that I'm aware of. What they do try to meet with one landowner at a time, and then they tell you, oh, we have a big percentage of your neighbors that have signed. And then we contact our neighbors, and there's a lot of us who have not signed easements and are not going to sign easements. So there are hundreds of us in South Dakota that have signed a lawsuit with a lawyer in Nebraska who is helping us as landowners against the force of eminent domain by a private company for private gain.
Troy, did you have some?
You said they have told you that they have all these.
Yeah, that's what's been told to me.
I guess I would like to go on record and clarify that.
Come on up.
Come on up.
Come on up, Troy.
Are you done?
This isn't a public hearing. I don't know that we should get into this. That's my
You answered
concern.
you answered my question.
think-
I said, I was
Yeah,
just making
I
a comment
think
on
we
what I've been
just
told.
are taking information
Yeah.
today. There will be an opportunity. There will be public hearings in the future if this is approved, and we'll go through that process. This is just strictly information today, so.
I have a question on this sheet of paper and I know it's your. I don't know you, but maybe you might be an engineer. Where's the 14 million gallons of water coming from?
It was in a newspaper article printed in Lamberton, Minnesota, for the public in that area to understand what Summit was requesting of their water.
I mean, is this gonna be a well water? Is this gonna be lake water? Is it gonna be river water?
I don't know.
Or is it?
I don't know. Has
14
Summit,
million gallons is a lot.
yeah, it is. And has Summit laid that out for all of us?
If they'd like to take it out of Goose Lake, we could sure help them out with that.
Yeah.
That's a really good question, how forthright they're going to be about what their needs are.
Okay, well, I think we have your information. It's something we'll be watching as we go forward, I'm sure, and get these questions answered and move forward, whatever
Okay.
that will be.
I really appreciate all of your
Thank you.
time.
We appreciate the
Yep.
comments.
Thank you.
Thank
Well
you.
presented.
Okay, do we have anything else for the open? No, it's not quite 10 o'clock yet. We're getting close. Is everybody
But I
here?
think our,
Everyone's here?
everyone here that needs to be here.
It should be 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
He does, okay, all right.
Okay.
Then we do need to wait a few minutes.
Okay. Sounds good.
You could take a brief recess or
Eat your donut.
nothing for executive session today.
No, don't be,
Okay, but that
don't
would
be
be
sorry. It's okay.
So we'll just hang tight here in
Okay.
5 minutes or whenever
Every time
Todd
you
gets
dress a computer that is down.
I think you said trouble with security.
here. Probably. Got to get him a hall pass.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya. I wonder what happens, right? Whatever she did. She had it in a million pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last name. The gentleman was at school.
Skeleton. And yes. Yep.
I assume those.
Um,
I don't think so.
Wendy
Oh,
is,
no.
Troy might be from Hamilton County with property in Cottington,
Okay.
I believe.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. And it reminds me of dealing with the wind tower.
It's just beginning.
Yeah.
How many people have voted already?
Yeah. Sent that to the paper today. Hang on.
Should do that one up here. Just do it.
31 as of 5
Just one,
o'clock.
two,
I
one up here.
3,001.
Was that number?
As of 5 o'clock last night, 3,121 early
But,
votes.
how does that compare to other years?
In a comparable midterm, we were at 2,445 at this time. And in 2018, we ended up with a total of 4,609.
Wow.
We're up a little bit.
Mhm. It's been busy.
Governor.
Oh, that would have been in midterm before too.
Yeah, but I think it's driving the numbers to be higher, probably.
Oh, I think,
There's been a lot of talk.
I think that Medicare and,
No,
general-
that was a whole different scenario with mailing out absentees.
well, they're probably.
Well, you'd want to go to a midterm anyway. Compare it.
That's nice.
You can't, because I was a president. a few years ago.
So.
People then body part. Yep. Yep. We get back to, waters.
Yeah, it worked.
I'm not saying that I agree that it's still legal to drop them in there, but it's,
Yeah.
just maintain stability.
Yes.
We need to that. Lost another wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Must have been that donut this morning. No more donuts. We just lost another wheel.
Blow it up.
Are you losing wheels too?
Well, I think.
Just the plastic.
These about,
Yeah, exactly.
they're like 84 years old or something.
I usually,
These are new chairs.
These were built on warehouse.
yeah, these are.
There's an age deterioration on product.
Well,
2,000 maybe.
So that's it.
Purchased.
These shares aren't scheduled to be raised.
Actually,
Replaced until about 2050, aren't they?
Budget for
For
replacing.
these chairs here.
I can't believe we can't find wheels for these.
They were.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So it's been 12 years. Yeah.
Except
It's those chairs with those big.
Yeah.
I know,
Here's what
I know, that's what I was thinking. There- I know-
Wooden chairs that they used to have, metal wheels.
Just a spotlight that spots down on you.
Yeah. Well, it takes- that old shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. Some
I
neat. that
see
we
the
could get
sheriff was happy, the
Well, 9.
security guard was happy. Sheriff was.
I know.
It makes a difference. It really does make a difference when he sits there and that ring around him. It's so much.
So is everyone here that needs to be? Are we ready? Okay, let's do item number 14 then. Action to authorize the chair and auditor to sign documents allowing the county to act as a conduit for the issuance of tax exempt economic development funds for a project for the Village of Harmony Hill Incorporated. Come on up, state your name. And we'll just have you sit in this chair so we can catch it on the mic, please. Thank you.
Meyer Henry.
Push that button.
Push the button. Todd Meyer Henry, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, bond counsel.
And May Pokup, I'm also with Meyer Henry Sargent and Bond Counsel.
All right.
First of all, you gotta get your hand ready to start signing.
Yeah.
So we'll need a motion to authorize.
You've actually already authorized it by the previous resolution, but
Oh,
you
okay.
can, you can do it again, is fine.
Yeah.
Make a motion to.
Motion by Van Duzen. Second by Gable. Okay, so is there any other information that pretty much just, that's it? Just
No.
anything you want to add to that?
Just for the folks that have dialed in and are wondering what this is. This is a conduit bond issue that's authorized by the federal government that 501c3s can borrow tax exempt. However, under federal law, it requires
that their borrowing go through a public entity so that the public kind of can review and ask questions about the project, since it's a private, well, it's not a private, but it's a 501c3, which at their board meeting probably does not get the public at your board meetings.
Hopefully not.
So what happens is the county issues bonds, sells them to a bank. And then in theory, which is how it works, the county lends the money to the 501c3. And so we issue a bond, and then the county gets note and mortgage and security agreement from the 501c3. But in order to make this a very clean issue, you just simultaneously assign it to the bank. And after you close, it's basically like a commercial loan between the bank and the 501c3, because the bank holds the bond, also holds all the commercial loan documents from the 501c3. And so the only obligation of the county is to make sure that they're following the tax laws, which it's important to them because they get a tax exempt borrowing rate. And that's why we're here also, to make sure that it's tax exempt. And the only other thing is, every year you'd probably get a call from the bank to say, what is the balance of this loan or of this bond issue, so that you can put that on as a note on the audit. And that was just a new requirement a decade ago. GASB accounting would like to just say, these aren't real obligations of the county, but we just like to know what kind of
We went through that with our last audit and the Great Plains Lutheran.
Yep,
Yeah,
Great Plains
same thing.
Lutheran would be your other note. So this would be another note under that one, probably, since this is newer. Other than that, it's all we need to do is have the chairman and the county auditor start signing the documents, and May is going to be my brains today so that I can space off and
Does my
We need to
seal
vote.
need to go on there? Do you know?
Excuse me.
My seal? Does the seal need to go on?
it does not for
Okay.
bond purposes.
That's good.
You-
All right.
So we have a motion and a second. We're
Yeah.
just going to call for a vote, and then we can move forward. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Okay,
So this is the bond. So
okay.
you can go ahead and sign that and then the.
Black or
page
blue, does it
following.
matter to you?
Does not matter with new copy machines. You can't tell the difference. It used to always go blue because we had black copy machines. Now with color copy machines.
Okay.
Do we need to sign all those right now, Brenda, or is that something that? can
No,
be
we'll
done
just
after the-
do that. We can do this after the meeting.
Okay.
So that the rest.
With
can-
that, we'll let you finish your meeting, and we can.
Yeah.
We have all day.
Perfect.
And I'll stick around, so.
Yeah.
All right, so we have no need for executive session, is that correct?
Okay.
Okay, then I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Well, what about 15? The Girl Scout.
That there is no information
Yeah.
that will.
Oh, you didn't get
put
that.
on. Nope,
Didn't
nope,
get that finished.
nope,
Okay,
so we're moving on.
I'll adjourn.
Motion by Johnson,
Second the motion.
second by Van Duzen, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, that motion carries.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
are, yeah, now you can come back. Could have just stayed sitting here, I guess.